Okay, we are leaving the campground and getting ready to ride through the Cades Cove Loop Road.
And here comes everybody.
Here comes everybody. So there's your mileages back to Townsend, 9 miles, Maryville 29, Gatlinburg 25, Cherokee 56. And hopefully we will get to go through there soon. Alright. Now, like I say, we are here till Monday. It's just Friday, so we are going to be doing a lot of recording through here. I will piece together clips from different times of the day, different trips. What you will be seeing on this video is not going to be all the same trip. Like we may not see a bear this time, but if we do tonight or tomorrow night, we will definitely put that in the video. So, usually as you enter in, there's some turkey in the field. Closed at dusk. 11 miles. It's an 11-mile loop. And right here as you come in, you see the horses down there. And the beauty of the scenery just opens up. The mountain you're looking at there, you can see it from pretty much everywhere. The first half of the cove is Gregory Bald. We have hiked that 2 times. That's the hardest hike I've ever done. It's to the top of that peak right there. I will say this, if you go around the 3rd or 4th weekend in June, that's when the flame azaleas are in full bloom at their peak. If I ever hike that mountain again, that's when I'll go, because it's a thing of beauty. It's indescribable when you get up there and see all those millions of azaleas in every color imaginable.
It's worth the hike.
It's worth the hike. And it's very wide open. It's a grassy area up there, very large and open. You can bring you a blanket and lay down. I think that's what we did. And very nice. We got a male gobbler out there in the field. Like I say, there's usually some turkeys right here as you come through at the beginning. So we got a male out there. Now I'm going to show you 2 important signs that everybody should be familiar with when they come through Cades Cove. Here is the first one. Alright. Stay back 50 yards, you can be injured or killed. That's 150 feet. Okay, every year when we see a bear, you've got people that want to try to walk up to the bear. What happens is if the bear attacks you, the bear gets put down. If it's a mama bear with cubs, she dies because you didn't obey that sign. You don't ever get near cubs, you don't ever get between a mama bear and her cubs. Now, I had one guy want to argue with me on one of the pages, said that sign proves there are elk in Cades Cove because there's an elk picture. There are no elk in Cades Cove. That's the same sign you see, Cataloochee, Cades Cove.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it's just a standard. It's a standard sign. There are elk on the North Carolina side. A couple made their way over as far as Townsend a few years ago. 2 young males. They went back to North Carolina. There are no elk in Cades Cove as of yet. The day may come where they show up here. But a lot of people claim they've seen elk, but it's funny, nobody's ever taken a picture of an elk in here.
Sometimes you'll see deers with a big rack.
You'll see deer, yeah. I think it's a case of mistaken identity. We got people out in the field right here. I don't know why.
Looking up towards a tree.
Yeah, there must be a bear in a tree here, so hopefully we're going to get to see one here. At a safe distance.
One of them's got a huge zoom lens.
And that's good. That's what you need, is a good zoom lens. So we're going to use a pull-off. We're not going to do like somebody up there in front and just stop in the road. That's going to be the other sign I'll show you. But might as well, while we're here, might as well see the bear. So. Okay, we do have a bear in a tree.
Yeah.
Way up there.
Did Mom see it?
I think he's getting ready to come down, so we're in luck.
I want to get your camera out quick. He's going into an open spot. I know. He's honestly used to people.
I lost it.
That's kind of cool.
I think that's it.
Maybe this is better than that.
That was quick. That's probably about the quickest we've ever spotted one.
I know.
We're not even a mile in yet.
That's a big one too, ain't it?
Good job. Yeah,
To be in that tree, yeah, that's a pretty big one.
I'm just using you as my marker.
And we are keeping a safe distance. I am zoomed way up.
Exactly.
We're at least 150 feet from him.
I just telling him 0 to 35 in 3 seconds. And by the time you realize what she's doing, your 3 seconds is up. You ain't even moved yet.
Yeah.
When she comes down, most red ram pickup.
That's me.
You can stay, just need to relocate a little bit.
Right back. Tires on those sides. This chair is barely
How is it up there? How does it
This way is, well, Alexis is
I don't know what it would be eating up there.
all the little ones you see running around right now, they'll stay with mom through this winter, then she'll pick them out.
I can't believe it's just like, it's so big to be camped up like
It's not a huge bear. It's not the biggest one I've ever seen here, but to be in that tree, it's certainly not a cub.
Another tidbit for your tea party when you run out of information. How much
I don't see how they balance like that.
I know.
That's pretty good.
It's like,
There you go. There you go. You can easily see some of the cherry trees when you drive around. Just look for the trees with the broken branches that the leaves are all turned colors on. That's all the trees they've been beating up on since they've gotten ripe. See what it goes back up. When they first come out, they'll work this tree, they'll come down this tree, they'll move to the next one if there's a bunch of cherry trees in line, and just work their way down the road.
I think I'm gonna, once you start coming down, I'm gonna
I'm
start
gonna eat that too. Wow. That's very cute.
They're eating, she'll eat the cherries.
will she jump from there?
See, look. She's eyeballing right now.
Can she jump that far?
No. She'll come down, but she's wanting to see whether she's going to go next. She's not done eating. This year.
Alright, we were hoping it would come on down.
And if we're not around to keep people moving,
Started to come down. I had to go move my truck, even though I was pulled off. Apparently,
They weren't satisfied.
if you have 2 tires touching the pavement, you have to go move. I wish they would say something to people with 4 tires touching the pavement that are stopped. Anyway.
Well, at least they're keeping it moving pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, they are,
I can see the
but you can look up there and see again where people are stopped in the road and they got 4 tires on the pavement.
up at the falls. If you do go up to the falls, don't go in the water right near the falls. On the left-hand side,
They're diving down.
they're out there swimming and they get sucked in first and it's pulling them in there. And then when they get underneath, they get wrapped up in the debris. I know it's lovely out in nature, but there are hazards. Just put your thinking cap on. It's as deep as 30
Few of the
feet
mountains
at the bottom
around.
of the falls in some places. Trying to watch my other end over here. Make sure they're behaving like you folks are.
Zoom back out to kind of give you a perspective
I
of
know
how
you're not
far
doing
we
that
actually
just
are
'cause
away.
I'm here.
Of course not.
You remember where my marker is?
Plus we got the volunteer here telling us
Over there I had a yellow leaf.
where we
I
need
had
to
something
stand,
distinguished.
so that's good. Everybody's being smart.
Oh, yep.
Looks like it's going to climb up higher.
Opposite up here, huh?
No? I was hoping we could get some footage of it coming down and going across the field, but I think we're going to have to do that another time. The balance that thing has is amazing. Just a little perspective how far up that tree he is, or she. I don't know if it's a he or she. Zoom out. It's up there pretty good ways.
There's one sow with 3 cubs that just loves to take them for a walk right along the ridge, right along the road. She starts at the one end and she comes all the way up and around down the other side. So you could be sitting out there.
Up here on the left, this guy's my buddy. I've been hearing him tell people to keep it moving. That's good. That has been needed here for a long time.
Yeah, he's gonna go tell him right now. Look at him.
There you go. That's a good man.
They ain't listening.
He's going to tell him again. It's going to be good.
Shot right there.
Roll the window down. Okay, and about 2 miles in, which it looks like Sparks Lane is closed. I'm going to guess that's from the probably flooding. It's probably covered in water. That does happen there. But that is one of the 2 ways. That's about 2 miles into the loop. That's one of the 2 lanes that cut across the cove if you need to make an emergency exit.
You know,
This is where the John Oliver cabin is, and well, they put.
they're doing a walkway. A paved walkway.
Oh, they're making a paved walkway up through there, so. That's the John Oliver cabin.
So they're basically making a nicer walkway. So you have to go through the field.
Yeah, I guess that's nice. We always hike up through the woods and back down through the fields.
I wonder if they'll keep that part, or if you'll have to just take
I'd
that.
say they'll leave the wooded part, yeah. That's a nice hike. That's a way to go up, and you come up on it and you see it there as the clearing opens up. It's really pretty. It was really pretty last year in the snow, walking up through there and then just seeing it open up in the cabin right there in the snow. I guess we won't be walking up there this trip. We usually take one of our days that we ride through here and just stop and see all of the historical structures, and that's one of them. 3 churches. There's the first one, I believe, is the Primitive Baptist. That's the first church, or is the Methodist Church? No, it's the Primitive. No, I think the Primitive Baptist is first. Then Methodist, and then Missionary Baptist. How much you want to put on that? Miss Bird Key, one on the siesta key. Remember that one? You lost that one. I guarantee you Primitive Baptist is first. So, the rest of us will be eating burgers tonight. Me, Tyler, and Jessica, you'll be eating a crow.
That was wrong.
What's this little sign say here? Primitive Baptist Church, 1/4 mile to the left, and we haven't come to the Methodist Church yet. What do you know about that? Primitive Baptist Church was first.
Apparently so.
Huh?
They moved it.
They moved it. Okay. Anyway, we'll be going out there at the Primitive Methodist Church, or I'm sorry, here I can't even get it right now. Primitive Baptist Church, and then the Methodist Church, which is right here on our right. Coming up. And then the Missionary Baptist Church will be the last one. Like I say, we will be taking a day and stopping at these places, so I will insert clips from those days, like right at this drive-through point. There's the Methodist Church. One of the things about all 3 of the churches, if you go around the cemeteries and look at the dates, you see a lot of young infant mortality and even children, and that's the thing we often forget. We talk about, oh, I wish I could live back in those days. It was a hard life. I mean, I admire the grit that they had, you know, to live off the land, build their own homes,
Find their own food. Preserve it.
Raise their families. I mean, you have to admire them from that standpoint. And I do think they were a lot better off then without a lot of these modern conveniences that, you know, we've kind of become spoiled by and take for granted. But I'll tell you something, it was a hard life. They didn't have the level of medical care we have now, and you can see that on the tombstones. A lot of there's some families that lost 2 and 3 children, and that's really sad. Up here is Hyatt Lane on the left, That's the other way across. Now I'm gonna give you a little tip. If you are ever coming through the cove, and like I say, these lanes are if you need to make an emergency exit, or after we go through the loop, when we come back around to the other side, you could cut back across and come out here and go through again. You can go through twice this way if you want to. But if you're ever coming through Cades Cove right after a storm and it's starting to clear out, take a ride down Hyatt Lane. That is one of the most beautiful things you will ever see, is it not? Because you're riding across the field. Yeah, and if you're there right after a storm, the fog is lifting and you see the clouds ascending up, like the mountains are above the clouds. I don't even know how to put it into words, but it's a pretty breathtaking view down Hyatt Lane if you go right after a thunderstorm. Just the way the evaporation and you can see the mountains in the background and the clouds and the mist. It's unbelievable. Here's the Missionary Baptist Church on the left. Here's the other sign that I want to make everybody aware of. The first one was keep your distance from the wildlife. And here's the other one. Now, that one shouldn't need explanation, but it does, because there are thousands of people a day that do not know what that means. That first part of that means no stopping in the road, of course. You can stop if you pull off. Be courteous, use pull-offs. Now what that means is, if you stop in the road and don't use the pull-off, you're not being courteous. And it's always kind of funny to read some of the things on some of these pages. I've seen people actually make a post saying that somebody behind them blew the horn because they were stopped taking a picture, and they said that person was so rude. No, that really wasn't the person that was being rude. The person that was being rude is the one that didn't pull off. That's how I see that. I'll tell you something, today the traffic is just at a minimum. For Labor Day weekend, I can't believe how low the traffic is today.
It's Friday, I just hope it doesn't.
Oh, it will. It'll pick up some. But honestly, I mean, you look at this. Everybody's being respectful. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, pulling off. And nobody's really stopping in the road, and that's awesome. This is a beautiful field right here. We're coming up on the best overlook in the cove, and of course you see Gregory bald in the background. Again, that's a beautiful hike when the azaleas are in bloom. So we're going to come up here to this overlook, and I'll let you see an expansive view of the cove. I don't know what I just ran over, a twig or something. There's only maybe one or two cars at the overlook up here.
Usually it's packed.
Yeah, it usually is. Alright, I wanted to pull up here and stop for this view. This is the road coming up to the overlook where we were just at. And this is probably the best view of Cades Cove right here. There are actually a few more cars up here than what I could see down there, but it's not bad. This is the premier overlook in the cove. You're looking up now at Thunderhead Mountain and Spence Field, and up towards Rocky Top, where was the inspiration for the song. Now, I may have it backwards, but I believe that's Thunderhead right there. And over to the right, I believe, is Spence Field. Somebody do correct me if I'm backwards on that. Okay, let's move on. Another thing I do want to do in these videos is try to give some commonly requested information. One question a lot of people have about Cades Cove is, where's the Pearl Harbor tree? So I'm going to show you how to get to that. I'm not going to hike up to it today, but once you leave the big overlook that I just showed you, we're pulling out of that parking lot now, I'm going to show you where to park for the Pearl Harbor tree. It's not far from here at all. You basically go just a short little distance and you look for a little pull-off area on your right. And the Pearl Harbor tree is, what all's around it? I know it has to do with the attacks, of course, on Pearl Harbor.
They
put some type of metal ring around a tree.
Yeah, there's a metal ring around it. And I want to
to
say maybe some flags.
Yeah.
But right here's the pull-off for the Pearl Harbor tree. Right after you leave that overlook, I want to say you have to step over that log and kind of stay to the left, do you not?
You'll see the trail. I mean, you can see a trail.
Well, that looks like the trail right there, but I thought we went to the left. Maybe that's the log we step over.
Yeah, there, and you can kind of see where it goes up the hill.
Just walk up through there and walk around, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's not hard.
I don't remember exactly which tree. Yeah, we found it with no problem, but this is the pull-off for the Pearl Harbor tree. And that's our Cades Cove CD that we always play going through here. It's actually Sounds of the Great Smokies. But,
Here, I'll show you a picture of it.
yeah, there's the cover, the Sounds of the Great Smoky Mountains. Very nice, relaxing CD to play when you're riding through the cove.
It's like perfect because as soon as you come into the cove, there's the horses, and you can hear horse hooves.
Yeah, in the first song you can. This is a beautiful area. This is one of my favorite spots anywhere in the world. We've got a trip coming up Christmas time. Not going to say where that's going to be yet, but it's going to be some brand new things, some things we've never seen, some things it's been a long time since we've seen. But I don't think anything's going to top right here, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to doing something different, though. But we have our flight booked and our car rental reserved, so we are looking forward to that. That will be Christmas through New Year's. So keep watching for that. Again, not going to say where or what, but something we've not done in a long, long time. And have talked about doing for years. Once again, just another beautiful shot here of a meadow, and in the background you see Gregory bald. I'll see if I can zoom up on that. It's very hard to hold a camera still when you zoom, because your movement is it's a lot more sensitive to movement, but you might can even see the open grassy bald area up there where there's no trees. But there are azalea blooms everywhere up there, and every color. Yes, it's hard to hold it still, but that's the top of Gregory bald. There are azalea blooms of every color up there: pink, coral, peach, white, orange, yellow. Literally every color you can think of for an azalea, they got it up there. It's really, really a nice hike. It's a really hard hike. It's not for beginners. It's not for somebody who's not, at least, I won't say you have to be an avid hiker, but you don't want to be a novice either.
You'll be somebody who moves some.
Huh?
If you just sit on the couch all the time, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you're not going to enjoy that hike. You do need to at least be accustomed to walking and climbing a little bit. But it's a tough one. It's about 11 miles round trip. A lot easier coming down than it is going up, at least for me. But I guess some people, if they have bad knees or something, it might be hard on them coming down, but it's never... going up to me is the hard part, but it's steep. It's the first mile or two of the trail is not bad, but then it really intensifies after that. Alright, here's the trail out to Abrams Falls if you have an interest in hiking that. I want to say, off the top of my head again, 5 miles round trip. I think it's 2.5 out there and 2.5 back. We've done it twice. That's the only place in the park I've ever seen a rattlesnake on the trail, and it actually wasn't on the trail, it was off to the side, but it was a rattlesnake nonetheless. So anytime you hike in the Smokies, you do want to be careful. When we hiked Gregory Bald, you saw copperhead.
I about stepped on it.
Yeah, I did. You called me over to see it. I didn't see it at first, but you do want to be careful. Watch what you're doing. Wear some good shoes, boots. Yeah. I don't recommend hiking in tennis shoes, to be honest with you. It's certainly not anything open-toed. I think you're asking for trouble if you do that. This is right before the halfway point. The visitor center, Cades Cove Visitor Center, is coming up here, and the Becky cable farmsteads down below that. We will be going out there, not today. Quite honestly, we are tired. We got up early this morning to go eat at Crockett's. And we're going to go back and I'm going to lay in the hammock or lay on my cot, and she's going to lay on her chair. We're gonna nap a little bit.
Yeah, because we got Tyler and Jessica coming.
Yes, our son and daughter-in-law are coming in this evening, so that's why we set so many chairs up, if you noticed that earlier. So you turn left to continue on the scenic loop, right to go down to the historic area, and it looks like that road's open back up. This is Forney Ridge Road. Forge Creek Road. Forney Ridge is up at Klingman's Dome. Forge Creek Road, that was closed up until recently, so apparently you can go back down that again. That's how you access the trailhead to Gregory Ball, by the way. The Parson Branch Road is still closed indefinitely, I think, but so that was good to see that back up. The lane comes out on the other side. It's two-way. If you're coming through and need to get out, you can cut across there. If you have already made the loop like we have and want to go back through, you just cut back across that way. This is the Lawson Place. Here, can you get that? It's on your side. That's the Lawson Place. His barn.
You can actually see that barn from that overlook that we stopped. You look out over the field.
Yeah, the big overlook we were just at, you can actually look down and see that to the right. All the yellow flowers. You know what those are?
No, I don't.
What's a golden rod?
No idea.
Okay, here we're coming up on the Tipton Place. I have to hit the brakes let them get off. Well, I'm trying to not hit these people. I wonder what the Rangers are doing. Looks like making a quilt. And over here, huh?
She was holding a little sign that said hog fiddle.
Hog fiddle. There's the barn. There's a cantilever barn back there in the back. And should be one more cabin, if I'm not mistaken. That would be the Carter Shields cabin. It's on up a little ways. Now, a lot of times we come back in the evenings, it's already dark by the time we get back around to the Carter Shields cabin. Now, obviously I don't believe in haunted cabins and things like that. At least I don't believe the person who lived there inhabits it. I believe they're in eternity in one place or another, depending on whether they knew Christ as their Savior. So I don't believe that. You hear people come in here and say that they heard a voice. I will tell you this though, that's a spooky cabin to walk out to in the dark.
It's so dark.
You better have some guts if you walk out there, because well, we had an experience out there a couple of years ago. It was dark, I mean pitch dark. It ain't like in the city when it gets dark out here. You can't hardly see your hand in front of you. We were walking out in that cabin. I couldn't remember if we had a flashlight or not.
I don't think we did.
But I remember you messed with a door.
Well, when you
I think maybe we left our car lights on.
Yeah, when you go in, there's like another door that they keep with a hinge.
Yeah, they keep it locked. Well, she messes with it and then shut it back, supposedly.
I thought.
But it was kind of delayed because I thought she just lashed it back. We was kind of staying there.
Well, I think what it did is it started opening and then hit the wall.
Yeah, I kid you not.
We didn't see it.
Within about 5 minutes after she'd messed with it, we'd already forgot about it. That door starts opening.
And it hit
real
the wall.
slow and hit the wall. Now, when that happened, my first thought was I better go check the vehicle and make sure everything's okay out there.
Yeah, he was out that door and I was still left in there.
Well, I knew you'd be all right.
He knows I know how to take care of myself.
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd better go check the vehicle. So
go ahead and start it up, right?
Yeah, go ahead and get it started, then come back and make sure you but anyway, it was just one of those things. It happened. The door opened and hit the wall. It was pitch dark. It did kind of.
It scared us.
Yeah.
We knew it was what we had done.
Yeah, but
it was still when it's dark.
It was a delayed thing, you know. We'd already walked away from the door, and then it opens up. That was a few years back, 3 or 4 years ago. But well, we made it a point. We've done it again in the dark since then. Nothing's happened. So, but yeah, I got really concerned about the vehicle, and I just kind of figured maybe I ought to get back to it. We should be coming up on that little place here in the next few minutes. Okay, and here we are coming up on the Carter Shields cabin. Now, what we were just telling you is true, but she was kind of putting a spin on it of me leaving her behind. Like I said, I thought something might be out there by the vehicle, and I wanted to have the door open for her. I was actually watching out for her. I wanted to get out there and have the door open for her for when she could just run and jump in. So
All I know is I was the last one out.
well, you gotta be quick, every man for himself. Anyway, there it is.
You can actually see the little door to the left. Oh, somebody's got it open now.
When we walk out there, we'll show you the door we're talking about. Yeah, the door is actually open now. Apparently it does that. But see, that's an opening there, and you can see it looks like there's a door over it. That's actually the door. Is it going up steps, maybe?
It may be.
Yeah. But anyway, don't look so bad in the daytime, but at nighttime, that's a spooky... I'll show you how dark it is. We'll put that on the video.
Especially when it's like, even when it's almost dark. Not quite yet, it is kind of spooky like.
But that door's slamming open. I wanted to get out here and get her car door open for her, so we'll just say it like that. Alright, the last little bit of Cades Cove Loop Road. The mountain views on the second half are not quite as, it's still nice, but not quite as extraordinary as the first half, because you're looking back towards the main range of the national park. The first half, you're kind of looking away from the national park now, but nice open field, trees out there. There's actually a little family cemetery out there around those trees. Again, beautiful place to come in the fall when the leaves are turning. You can't beat it. We've still got another month, maybe 5-6 weeks before that happens here. Alright, we have come to the end of the Cades Cove Loop. So, since we are camping, we don't have to turn left and leave. We can turn right and go back to our campsite. So, like I say, we always get our same campsite. I'll reserve it way ahead of time. It's our favorite spot. It's kind of one we just, I don't know, we're used to camping in.
Actually, they do have a payphone in there.
Do they really? I wonder how much to call them.
I'll walk right there and see.
Alright.
Campground's filling up a little more.
Yeah, campground's going to start filling up this afternoon, as we knew it would. It always does. Can't blame anybody for wanting to camp here. It's a good campground. And I will do a campground walkthrough at some point this weekend. Just like I did Balsam Mountain. This is going to be a little bit longer walkthrough, but... And we are back, C36. Okay, we're nearing sunset now, and we're going to take another ride back through the cove. And again, even for a Friday night, traffic is not bad at all. We're probably one of the last cars to go through. My wife and son and daughter-in-law are all in the back. So I'm up here driving by myself. Horses out there in the field. It's starting to get kind of dark through the wooded areas here. Okay, along the Cades Cove Loop Trail, there are 3 churches you can stop and see. The first one is the Cades Cove Primitive Baptist Church, where we are now, and you do have to take a left turn off of the main loop road to get to it. It's a short little drive down a dirt road. And just be aware on that dirt road, you do have to sometimes pull to the side and let an oncoming car pass. It's narrow in some places. Step inside. take a walk through the cemetery. And no pets allowed in the cemetery, so ours are being left in the truck. Now there is at least one famous, well, Cades Cove famous grave here, I should say, or Great Smoky Mountains famous grave. It's around the backside. And that one says Brothers. I'm assuming that's not their name, that they were brothers.
Yeah, one was really young, the other one lived longer.
The choir. You see a lot of Olivers, LaQuires, Cable, Ogle. A lot of those names around here. Reagan. Anyway, here's a shot of the entire cemetery. Most of these graves do date back into the 1800s and the early 1900s. Now right here, I said there was a famous one here, Cades Cove famous, but actually there's two. Forgotten about this one, John Oliver. His is the first cabin you pass about 2 miles into the loop road on the right. We're currently unable to walk up there because it looks like they're making a walking path and they've got it blocked off. So we're not going to be able to go up there this trip. I would love to show you that cabin. Very beautiful cabin when you come in from the trail out of the woods. I'll try to remember to post a picture of it on this video from a past trip. So continue around. Okay, from the end of the cemetery looking back up towards the back of the Primitive Baptist Church. Now, I don't know what this particular Primitive Baptist Church believed. I know that Primitive Baptist churches today tend to be Calvinistic in doctrine. I don't know, again, about this one necessarily, but I'm wanting to say the Primitive Baptist, at least back in these days, maybe only met once a month or so for church. I don't think they met every single week. Alright, coming up on the other grave up here on the right. Here it is, right where my wife is standing. And this is the grave of Gregory. And you've heard me talk about the hike up Gregory Bald, which is the prominent mountain you see from Cades Cove on the first half of the loop. This is where he's buried. The mountain was named after him. Founder of Gregory Bald, about 1830. And then it says murdered by North Carolina rebels. I don't know all the history there. There's like 3 different stories as to what happened to him. But apparently a lot of the residents of Cades Cove sided with the North during the Civil War. And I'm sure some didn't. But from what I've read, that he was kind of ambushed by Confederate soldiers one night and shot. I've heard it was on his own land. I've also heard that one of his relatives actually set him up. Don't know the story behind that. Don't want to say something that's not right. I've read 2 or 3 different versions of what happened, but he was apparently killed by Confederate soldiers for his, I guess, opposition to the Confederacy. But anyway, that's the Primitive Baptist Church. Like I say, you take a left off of the loop road, you'll see the little wooden sign. This is the first church you come to in the Cove. The Methodist Church is back on the main loop road, and it'll be the next one. So I guess we'll be recording that one here in a few minutes. Alright, now we're coming up on the Cades Cove Methodist Church. And this is the only church in the Cove that has 2 doors in the front of it. Don't know if one was an entrance or an exit. Not sure what the reason for that design was, but step inside and look around. sections of pews, and then the choir, 2 sections. Standing up here behind the pulpit, and we got a couple of sinners coming in. One just left. She's under conviction. That's my daughter-in-law, by the way. My son, Tyler. Say hello, Tyler. Tyler's a little camera shy. And Shaughnessy in the back. And Jessica has left us, so. Methodist hymnal. And a couple of Bibles up here. Alright, let's walk through the cemetery now. Now, if any of you have ever seen pictures or postcards of a view above Cades Cove looking back down on this church, usually with a fall color setting, that's from Rich Mountain Road, and this is the church that you're seeing from that view. You get on Rich Mountain Road across from the Missionary Baptist Church, and it's a one-way dirt road out of Cades Cove. You can't re-enter the cove from that road. You come out in Townsend. It's supposed to be 5 miles. It seems like it's 50, but anyway, if you ever see those pictures, they're very popular on postcards and things, where you're looking back down into Cades Cove and you see a little white church. That's the one you're looking at right there. This is a little bit of what I was talking about the other day. Here are 3 from the same family, 3 children. 3 straight years. 1916, 1917, looks like he lived several months. Get that out of the shadow a little bit there. And then this one, looks like those 2 passed away the same day they were born. It's really sad. That's a family that lost 3 children, 3 straight years. Probably one of the hardest things anybody would ever have to do, and then have to do it 3 times. Here's from the end of the cemetery, looking back down at the Methodist Church. Now up here on the left is the grave of Randolph Shields. He is the author of the book, The Cades Cove Story. I do have that book. He actually, if I'm not mistaken, was born in Cades Cove. And I want to say he maybe taught at the University of Tennessee for a while. He was laid to rest right here. Arthur Randolph Shields. I think I said Randolph Shields. Author of the Cades Cove Story. There's some really interesting things in that book, though. He talks about the way of life and just some of the ways, that the customs, the way they did things, preparing for funerals, and even how the kids made toys out of I think they would make a kickball out of a pig's bladder. Like when they butchered a pig, they would use the bladder and somehow harden it so it became like rubber, and they'd use it as a ball to play with. There's really some interesting things about how they did things in the cove with the resources that they had. Alright, we're going to head on to the next one. the access to Rich Mountain Road. Just to the right. You can only exit that way, you can't re-enter. Stopping off at the Missionary Baptist Church. If there's a parking space. We're going to make one right over here. I do believe this sign is a new addition here. Don't remember this being there years ago. I don't remember that sign being there at all. Got a nice wide open area right here. It's a lot of open space right here, isn't it? Yeah, how big a heater was? I see where it was. But yeah. Just seems like it's a lot more open than the other churches. Alright, up here behind the pulpit where I belong. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking about that. Wow. Okay, we are down here now at the Cades Cove Visitor Center, halfway through the loop, and we've got them out here making molasses. Seen them out here doing this before, but not every time. But now y'all are gonna laugh at me. I'm not sure of the difference between a mule, a donkey, or a burro, so I'm gonna say that's a mule. And it walks around in a circle. How'd you like to have that job all day? And it squeezes out the stalks into that bucket. And they heat it up over here and make molasses out of it. I guess that's the second shift mule there. So they relieve each other. And up here's the grist mill. You can actually still buy the flour cornmeal that's made up here. You can buy that up there in the visitor center. Alright, moving on from the next building past the grist mill. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can kind of look behind this door here and there'll be a snake or two that is inhabiting that little area down in the cracks there. So, in fact, here's a little sign telling you about it. Very hard to read. And actually, I have located a snake. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick him up with this zoom, but I'm going to try. I'm not going to pick him up in my hand. If I pick him up, it'll be with this. I don't know if that's coming in or not, but there is a snake coiled up right there. I have no idea if you're able to see that or not. Might be him right there. And my wife's trying to spot that snake. You want to shine a flashlight down there? Did you see it with the flashlight?
I hadn't put a flashlight.
I was going to say, if you're going to do that again, shine it. Maybe I can get a better.
I was going to see if I can get a picture.
Okay. This is the Becky cable home down here below the visitor center. Walk on back a little further, and a couple more barns and structures back here.
Where'd you go?
These are some of the old millstones. I think those have seen better days.
I just flicked water on you. Do you not feel it?
No, you flicked water on me? That was really nice of you. Alright, that pretty much concludes the tour of the Becky Cable Farm or Homestead. Alright, we're coming back through Cades Cove on our evening sunset trip, and we are coming up on the Lawson Place. I do want to feature some of the cabins in this video. Kind of gives you an idea of how they lived and how they built their own homes from the land here. The lighting may not be the best in here tonight because it is starting to get a little bit dark. I want you to notice the doorway. Well, it may be hard to tell on the video here, but I'm 6 feet tall even, and I cannot get in that doorway without bending down. So I'm guessing the Lawson family were not tall folks. See if I can't give a little bit of light in here. I don't know if that's going to help or not. I'm trying a different setting on the camera here. The fireplace. Probably should be doing this in the daytime. Back porch here, or the back room. And please, if anybody knows what these yellow flowers, I don't know if that's what they call a goldenrod, or if anybody knows what those yellow flowers are, they are by the thousands here. I'd like to know. Sure, I could look it up, but they're very plenteous. And here's the stairway. I'm not really going to try to go up there because I don't want a bat flying around or anything. And I don't think you can see up there anyway this time of day, so. Lower my head down a little bit. Here's the front porch area.
There's something over here. Oh, deer.
Huh? Oh yeah, we got a deer right here. Well, it's going behind the building. Let me try to get up there. Not going to get too close to it and scare it, but would like to get a close-up of it. Alright, there's the deer. Behind the Dan Lawson cabin now, and my son Tyler is trying to get a picture of the deer. We'll stay on this side of the fence from it and not bother it. Back side of Dan Lawson cabin. That's probably one of the bigger, I would think, one of the bigger cabins of the ones that are still standing. The Tipton one, maybe it's pretty big. I know Carter Shields' place is small. It should be about dark when we get there again too. Looking out over the field across from Dan Lawson's, and those yellow flowers are literally just everywhere in that field. The sun has set, so it's going to be dark here before long. Alright, coming up on the Tipton Place now. Probably could see these a lot better if we were here in the daylight, but there's just something neat about going to these places in the dark. What do you reckon that was?
Is there firewood in it to keep it dry?
That's kind of what I was thinking, but that wouldn't really keep it dry. There's openings in it. I don't know. It might be what it was for. I don't know. This might be as big as Dan Lawson's cabin. I haven't really been in this one much. Actually, I think it's bigger. And ain't no seeing in here tonight.
Let me go grab the flashlight.
Well, you got one on your phone, don't you?
Yeah, right here.
Alright, very dimly lit. I apologize for that. Yeah, there's some stairs. Why don't you go see what's up there? I was actually kidding.
Ain't scared.
Huh?
That's what I ain't scared. Ain't nothing up here. Oh, there's another little room over there at the door.
We'll go see what's in there.
I don't know if you can lock this door or not. I'd be afraid to fall through it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up there. Probably a bat or something up there too. The back door here. And I'm sure the gate, the entrance gate to the cove is now closed. It closes at sunset. But as long as you're inside the gate by then, you obviously can finish your trip through. And here's the back side of the Tipton Place. See how the wood comes up and over the edge of the roof on this side. Okay, we are now going to walk out to the Carter Shields cabin, and it is now dark. I'm leaving headlights on so we can see, and hopefully it won't be totally pitch dark. I know I should be doing this in the daytime. This is, in my opinion, the smallest of the cabins. You can see my shadow. right here is that door that I was telling y'all about that opened by itself, or she hadn't latched very well. You got the flashlight? We brought a flashlight this time, so hopefully we can see a little bit of the inside.
Oh, somebody painted the fireplace.
Oh yeah, and people have written on it. Anyway, shine your light on the... Right here is this door that she had opened. What was the story on that again?
Well, okay, so we're standing here and it's pitch dark.
Yeah.
So there was a hinge or something. I unlocked it. And so we're over here talking, whatever. So here goes the door. Back up.
But the problem is it stays shut for a few minutes.
Yeah, back up there. So we couldn't see it. Move over here.
Where you want me?
Yeah, then all of a sudden it's like we're talking and not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, we don't see that
Here,
door, and all
all
of a
the
sudden
way
we
here.
hear...
Well, it was louder than that.
Yeah, it was.
It was like... We were like, we're out of here.
And that's when I decided to go check the car, or the truck.
You opened the door before we started again.
Yeah, I was opening the door for her. That's the way we're going to spin that.
Yeah, I did it again.
It ain't near as spooky with a flashlight, I'll tell you that. Tyler is going to venture up there. Let's hope we see him again.
Can you actually... Well, I wouldn't step on the floor.
What's up there?
Probably same as like...
He ought to take your camera up there.
I doubt I could see anything up there.
Hannah loves Tristan, though.
What?
Hannah loves Tristan.
Hannah loves Tristan. That's nice to
If you
know.
get up there and knock 3 times, let us know it's you. Here, I'll follow you if you want to go. I mean, not far.
I just...
This wood doesn't feel...
Yeah, I wouldn't...
You see?
Of course, they would keep you from going up there if it wasn't safe, I would think, but...
Make sure your camera can see it. Did you see it up here?
Not this time. I've looked up here before. Did you actually walk up there, Tyler? Where
Now, if that door down there shuts while we're up here, what are we going to do?
I'm going to jump out that window.
Okay, that wouldn't be a good idea. Alright. No, we're just having fun. There's nothing in here but wood and us. So,
Was this window open?
these steps, I don't see how they walk down them steps. How small those steps were. How narrow.
What was that place right there?
Alright.
Just an extra closet?
I'd say yeah.
I didn't even want.
Yeah, go in there.
That's where they kept bad children. How low this
Well, and that concludes our Cades Cove tour tonight, Saturday evening.
I was gonna ask you stupid, but I'll wait till he's done.
Might as well get one on recording. They've been coming all weekend. What is it?
No.
Go ahead.
I'll wait.
I'm gonna ask.
Thank God I came here for this.
Is he in the tree?
Yeah,
Where?
right here.
Oh, I see him.
Way high.
You get pictures?
How many is there?
I see 2 so far.
I
About 3.
was gonna say, I think I see 4, but
Okay. I got him good. Yes, yes.
Right?
Look, look at my picture.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I want to get closer.
Oh, he's coming down.
Is it up here? Yeah. two of them up in that tree. That tree straight ahead, they're climbing in it.
The ranger's gonna get you.
Standing right behind me. It's right between those trees. Walking away. Do you? Yeah. Just want to say something about that last video clip. That was not a great view of a bear. I'm actually riding on the back of our pickup. My wife's driving. We switch off and do this halfway through the loop. I'll drive half and she'll drive half. She had pulled off because we were going to let a couple of cars around us, and I just happened to look back trying to see when she could get back out on the road, and I saw a bear across the road about 2 cars behind us. So we got out and went to look at that. And honestly, I wish I had gotten this guy on camera. The bear's going off into the woods, and he's taking his little girl, carrying his little girl. She couldn't have been more than 2 or 3, and going down into the woods after the bear. You know, aside from that being against the sign that I showed you at the beginning of this video, that's actually a federal offense to get that close to wildlife, and doing that with your child. You know, I shudder to think of what could have happened, and it didn't. But you know, I hate to think of what could have happened. I know he wanted his little girl to see the bear. I get that, but you know, you can't do that. You can't take a child off into the woods after a bear. Just, you know, there's just some things you can't fix. There's some levels of unintelligence you can't fix, I guess is what I want to say. But yeah, if you're in Cades Cove, please don't do that. Just observe from a safe distance. You know, just about every camera you have can zoom up. Like I said, I know he wanted his little girl to see the bear. I get that, but honestly, you got to approach them from a respectful distance and a safe distance. But anyway, I don't know how good that last clip came in. By the time we got back there, the bear was well down into the woods. I did try to zoom up, but I wish I had gotten that guy on there. That's an example of what you don't do. But anyway, hopefully we'll see another one. That one was just by pure chance. If I hadn't been turned around watching for traffic, I wouldn't have seen it. But haven't really seen a lot of bear this trip. We saw that one earlier in the video. That was our first day. That was a Friday morning. It's now Sunday evening, and that's only the third one I've seen. First one on the ground. The rest of them have been in trees. I was driving this morning, and a mom and 3 cubs were spotted in a tree. So I drove on up, and I let my daughter-in-law, my son, and Shaughnessy get out and go see it. Because I didn't get to see the cubs. But I would like to, but you know, my daughter-in-law had never seen a bear in the wild, so wanted her to see it. But anyway, this is our 6th trip through the cove now. We've gone twice every day, starting Friday morning, morning and evening. And there's really been an increase in bear activity this year, but this is probably the least amount we've seen. I think 3 or 4 years ago, I bet we saw 20 in our camping trip. That's only my 3rd one. I barely saw the ones this morning that were up in the tree. Apparently it was a mom and 3 cubs. All I could see was just one black mass. I thought it was just one bear. But I haven't really seen as many as we would think too. We've seen more coyote than normal. I've seen probably 5 or 6 coyote, several deer as always, several turkey as always. Beyond that, now we had a little bit of excitement. I will tell you this. About 2 hours ago in the campground, we were resting. I was reading a book and kind of getting ready to take a nap, and my wife was doing the same. And we hear somebody going through the campground blowing their horn, like kind of at the other end of the C loop. And I didn't realize at first it was a park ranger. And next thing we knew, I hear a park ranger come over the loudspeaker, or like a bullhorn, saying something. I couldn't really make out what they were saying. But it occurred to me then there must be a bear in the campground. And they're warning people in that section. It wasn't in our section about the bear. Next thing I know, we hear gunshots, or what we thought was gunshots. And apparently they were shooting off flares. That was a mom. Come to find out, that was a mom and 3 cubs as well that were approaching the campground. And someone alerted the rangers, and the rangers were up there trying to scare the bears back off into the woods so they wouldn't come in the campground. So that was exciting. but we honestly thought they were shooting at a bear, and didn't want to see that happen, obviously, but we thought maybe that it was aggressive and they were having to. But come to find out, they were, I think, just shooting to try to scare it back up into the woods. But that was kind of a interesting scenario that we had. But our dogs appreciated hearing the gunshots. They didn't settle down for 30 minutes after that. In fact, about all the dogs in the campground kind of went crazy after that. But anyway, hopefully we'll see another one and get a better close-up. I know that last one wasn't a very good shot. And way down there we can see the guy that's holding the whole line up. There he be. And pretty much a traffic jam all the way back. And I bet he's totally oblivious to everybody behind him and also all of the pull-offs he's passing. Okay, it looks like we have a mother deer and a little baby fawn. Can't see the fawn right now, but it's up there. There, you see it a little bit. Well, what doggone it. I was hoping it would stay out there. It went off into the weeds. Oh, I was really wanting to get that. A couple of deer here in the field by the visitor center, but no fawn, unfortunately. See two adult deer. Was here last year. There was a big buck up here in the field. I mean, he had a rack on him, and several other deer too, but I haven't really seen any with antlers this year. There's the other one. There's usually some up there by the cable cemetery, but I don't see any out tonight. Usually this time of evening there are several deer up in there. We've seen quite a few deer this trip, not as many as in some years, but probably, I don't know, over the last 3 days, probably a total of maybe 30. Pretty good amount. Now we're on the shady side, and it's starting to get a little chilly sitting back here in the back of the truck, so might be joining her up in the cab here in a few minutes. Alright, we have a bear right here getting ready to cross the road in front of us. Cool. I think so. I hope I got that. It's dark, but I think there was enough light with our headlights to get it. So well, that was neat.
I know. I just saw its face.
Yeah, good eye there. I didn't see that.
Oh.
So there's another bear. Let's see if I got that. Well, all good things must come to an end, and it is Monday, and we are heading out of Cades Cove. Our camping trip is done. We've spent the last 3 nights in Cades Cove. So, the reason I don't have the camera on either one of us is Shaughnessy's putting her makeup on. And
Hair still doesn't look very good, but
well, I mean, your hair looks fine. We've been camping. Everybody understands that. So, tell everybody about your trip.
Well, my trip was really good. The weather, I can't complain until last night.
Oh yeah, last night.
We did get some rain, but thankfully when we got back from riding through the cove, our neighbors said that they had heard 80% chance rain. So we thought, well, we're going to go ahead, get some stuff together, packed up, make sure nothing that could get wet, you know, is put up. So thankfully we did that. And as we were done and getting ready to go to bed, it lightly started. So we got to listen to it. But weather was good. Everything I ate was good. We had steak, we had burgers. Our daughter-in-law.
Tell them where you got the steak.
Where did we buy it?
No, who cooked it for you?
Oh, you did.
Yeah, there you go.
Derek cooks an amazing steak. I'll go ahead and say that. Yeah, his steaks are delicious. And our daughter-in-law brought shrimp, so we had actually steak and shrimp.
I've never had
night.
shrimp camping before, but.
And then of course we always grill zucchini, which is very delicious, and peppers one night. Made s'mores one night, grilled hot dogs last night. Everything was good. I have no complaints whatsoever. I mean, it was just a really enjoyable time. We got to see a lot of bear.
4.
Yeah, but still.
4 or 5. Y'all saw the cubs.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
saw
see
the
it.
cubs in the tree, then that big one in the tree, and then the one that crossed in front of us last night. That was pretty neat to see.
Yeah.
Had a real good time. Real good. Glad Tyler and Jessica came up with us and spent some time with us.
Yeah, they went on over to Gatlinburg last night. Yeah, like she said, the weather was perfect. We hadn't had a drop of rain, and we didn't even know, you know, when you're in Cades Cove, you don't get a lot of weather forecast and stuff because you don't have cell signal. Now, let me detour there just a little bit. I did not realize this to this trip, but we found out that there is Wi-Fi down at the amphitheater behind the camp store. So if you have to get in touch with somebody, if you need to get a text out, you can go down there to the amphitheater and you might get enough signal to get a text out. My son actually got a phone call out yesterday. But pretty much there is no cell signal in the cove anywhere other than that. But that was a neat little thing that we found out about. That if you have to get in touch with somebody, you can just walk down to the amphitheater and do that. But other than that, we didn't have any weather forecast. We did not know. We did go into Townsend yesterday, but I didn't even check weather. We had no idea it was going to rain last night. I was just putting the camper top back on. Our neighbor campsite next to us says, "Oh, y'all getting ready for the rain?" I'm like, "What rain?" And she said, "Oh yeah, 80% chance." So I was really glad to have found that out because I would have left stuff out like I had been. And we would have had a mess this morning, but we were able to get some stuff packed up and some stuff under the screen house. Still got a little bit wet this morning, but if it was going to rain, I almost wish it would rain the first day. That way you got time to dry things back out. But it is what it is. Had a great trip. We're going to go on into Townsend now and over to Pigeon Forge and find some lunch, find somewhere to hopefully do a new review on. So thanks for watching our video on Cades Cove camping. Again, that's probably my favorite campsite or campground of any campground anywhere. Just the convenience of the store and the beauty of it makes it a really worthwhile place to camp. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.